Well, we're back. Ed Rollins, Robert Zimmerman, Miguel Perez joining me now. Let me turn first to the press conference, the first press conference of the president-elect. He said that the first order of business is rescuing our middle class. What do you think?
I was very, very impressed with the press, with the way he handled himself at the press conference. He looked presidential. He was certainly very deliberative and thoughtful in his comments, and he surrounded himself with a great team. And I think at this stage, especially since we do already have a sitting president, he was respectful of the role he has now at a sensitive time, especially when the world is hanging on every word he says. So I think he handled it extremely well and with great sensitivity.
Yeah.
It's the first priority, and 4 years from now, it'll be the last priority. My sense is, we talked about Bush's legacy being Iraq, which obviously got damaged. I think this president's legacy is going to be this economy, and can he and his team get it moving? And as you said, wrong steps here can make it worse. I mean, I think the key thing here is, how do you tackle this thing, not get all kinds of pet programs involved here, and how do you really responsibly move this thing forward and create jobs?
You know, one of the things that I've said is I hope this president-elect doesn't follow the sort of the template of late, which is to create, you know, this sort of perception of rushing and just a manic response to a crisis, whatever it may be, as in the bailout. But Miguel, he said deliberate haste today, and half of those words were music to my ears. What do you think?
I think that, look, the one thing is talking points, and that's what he used today. What I heard today, it was the same talking points that we heard during the campaign. I heard nothing new in this press conference, frankly. You know, it's great that he sat down with 17 people who advised him on the economy, but it would have been nice for him to reassure the country that somehow we're going to be all right. And I didn't hear those reassuring words. It's one thing to use the talking points, and another thing to turn those talking points into policy. But Miguel, and that's the hard part, turning it into policy.
You just heard a liberal economist, Paul Krugman, Nobel Prize-winning economist now, basically his book is The Return to Depression Economics, the Crisis of 2008. I think it might have been somewhat disingenuous on his part to be reassuring, as if you know, you could hand out you know, pieces of candy to children here on this issue. The pain is profound. We've got 10 million people right now unemployed, an unemployment rate at 6.5%. Personal bankruptcies are skyrocketing. We've got 4 million folks facing foreclosure here. The list goes on. We've got an automobile industry that is being devastated. They're going to have to, you know, stimulus packages may be tempting, it seems to me, and it may be the order of the day because of Nancy Pelosi and because of this president-elect. But my God, we've got to have a policy response to all of these issues that is structural and long-term, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The thing that makes me nervous is, and once again, we've had these short-term, last 30, 45 days. I never get the feeling anybody knows what they're doing. It's kind of like, let's try this. Let's throw it out here. Let's try it. And I would rather say, sit for 3 months, 4 months, 8 months, get this thing right. If we're spending trillions of dollars, which we are,
right,
then it better be right, because it's not just us; it's my child and grandchildren that are going to basically be paying for this legacy. When you say another $1 trillion is deficit every year and beyond, I mean, that's serious money.
You know, that's what was intriguing to me about this press conference in terms of the way he handled it. Because obviously the stimulus package is going to be on the agenda. There's strong bipartisan support for it. How it should be structured, whether it should focus on infrastructure or consumer, is going to have to be debated and thought out. But I was impressed, and I think it's very significant that he didn't rush out with disingenuous promises about deadlines and timeframes. Because the truth is, this has to be thought through.
And at the same time, Nancy Pelosi is talking about lame duck sessions and stimulus packages. You know, and I disagree with Paul Krugman, frankly. The idea of just throwing more money at this right now is not the answer. Bailing out more of Hank Paulson's friends is not the answer. And acknowledgement by Krugman that this is now a serious issue for the real economy. You know, I don't think that's going to play politically very well for a president-elect in a difficult situation. What are his choices?
Well, the other danger here is you now got states going belly up, and cities will start.
Right.
And everybody now basically thinks, well, we can't afford it, so therefore we can't make it. We don't want to cut programs. We don't want to cut cops, teachers, what have you. Let's go to the federal government and basically see if they'll give us a bailout. pretty soon there's going to be no money. I mean, pretty soon there's going to be, I mean, you can print it pretty fast, 24 hours a day, but it's worthless after a while. And that's what's scary to me, is the precedent is set. There doesn't seem to be any discipline. There's no priorities. It's kind of like, we're all in trouble, let's do whatever. And that's scary to me. I'm not an economist, but it's scary to me.
But if, again, the states and the municipalities begin to get infrastructure money from the federal government so that they can, you know, I mean, there's a lot of unemployed construction workers in this country right now. And if we start building roads and bridges and getting people back to work, it may help. And I think that's one of the first priorities that President-elect Obama has to deal with.
It comes down to the short-term fix versus long-range structural corrections that have to be made. And I think it's wise that he's just taking his time to establish clear policies on these issues. And
I couldn't agree with you more.
So,
I mean, the more deliberate he is, and the more careful and thoughtful. You know, I give him all the credit in the world for not. I mean, today it had to be a great temptation within his organization. Okay, Mr. President-elect, here we go. We're going to have this, this, and this. We'll be zippy-dippy-do. You know,
that's exactly right.
And snappy patter. He resisted, I think, and kudos to him for doing so. As we look at the other issues, I mean, within 24 hours, confronted by a relatively direct challenge from Israel on the issue of talking with Iran. Medvedev of Russia saying we're going to build missile bases on the border next to Poland if you go ahead with Bush's missile shield. The Afghan government protesting the use of predator strikes. The list goes on. I mean, it was a very sobering, quick introduction to the highest office in the land, wasn't it?
The weight of his shoulders, the weight of the world is now on Obama's shoulders. And I think actually, I saw the press conference today, it's actually beginning to show already. The man looked a lot more serious, concerned about the responsibility he's facing now. I mean, it's not just dealing with the state of the economy the way it is. It's all the promises that he's made. Everything that, all these new expensive programs that he wants to introduce, you know, and a lot of people with a lot of expectations. If you go around the country right now and ask people, what do you expect from Obama? You get 1 billion responses.
There's a phrase when a great college player goes into the National Football League, welcome to the NFL, when he gets his first hit, gets his head taken off. Barack Obama is now into the big time, and the presidency is the most difficult job, and this is the most difficult time any modern president's ever had.
All right, we're going to be back with our panel, but first a reminder to vote in our poll. The question tonight is, we're interested to know what you think is the best way for taxpayers to confront these difficult times in city and state government. The question is, would you prefer higher taxes or government cutbacks in services? Cast your vote at LouDobbs.com. We'll have the results here later. Up at the top of the hour, Campbell Brown, no bias, no bull. Campbell, what are you working on?
Hey there, Lou. Barack Obama's first news conference today, and he is already apologizing for something that he said. We're going to explain what happened. Also, Governor Sarah Palin, as you have never seen her before, totally accessible, totally unguarded, and totally on fire about the news media's coverage of her and the anonymous McCain campaign critics who are trashing her. Also tonight, our PDB, the Political Daily Briefing, includes one of the most powerful people on Capitol Hill quoting scripture and making a fateful decision. And we've asked some of the best political minds around to pick their no-bull top moments of the campaign. We'll talk about that as well. Lou?
All right. Thank you very much, Campbell. And a reminder to join me on the radio Monday through Friday for the Lou Dobbs Show. My guests Monday include Republican Congressman-elect Jason Chaffetz of Utah and his big win over in Utah, James Toronto, the editor of OpinionJournal.com on the Obama transition to power. And go to LouDobbsRadio.com to get your local listings. We'll be right back with our panel and later heroes tonight. The story of one young soldier awarded the Silver Star for his bravery. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
If you're remodeling any portion of your house, you can't afford to miss this information. It's the information retailers don't want you to see.
Our whole entire house of cabinetry was going to come to a little over $60,000. Direct Buy came back with $38,000, so the savings is almost too good to be true.
One of the estimates that we had gotten was $10,000 to redo this small bathroom. It ended up costing us, with everything, including labor, under $3,000.
Just on our kitchen alone, we saved almost $10,000.
It adds up to about a $30,000 to $40,000 savings overall.
Call the number on your screen now to receive your free insider's guide to buying direct. Plus, you'll also receive a free visitor's pass for an exclusive tour of your local Direct Buy showroom. Call the number on your screen right now to get started buying the Direct Buy way. Stop paying retail and become part of Direct Buy, the private, members-only showroom and design center. Don't wait another minute. Pick up the phone and call now.
Only one of these 10 people can be the CNN Hero of the Year. Vote now at CNN.com/heroes. Then join Anderson Cooper Thanksgiving night to see your choice.
There's the week, there's the weekend, and then there's the weekender.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the subscription from the New York Times, I love it.
Like your whole weekend's just started. It's come a little early.
So the deal is you call the 1-800 number, and then you get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for $3.45, which is half off, which is pretty crazy.
So you get the Friday paper, and boom, you're right into the weekend.
Saturday. The word alone makes me happy. I love to sort of pull everything out of the Sunday paper.
Travel section.
The magazine.
Weekend review.
The international news.
The book review.
I got these really great boots after reading the Sunday style section.
All I did was call the 1-800 number.
I'm not one of those call now people.
Call!
You should call now.
I love to have the New York Times delivered.
What else can you buy in New York for $3.45?
Call now because it's a great deal.
It's like having a table of contents for everything in the world.
I mean, how much would you give for that?
The Weekender subscription from the New York Times. Get it now for as low as $3.45 a week. Call 1-800-228-6455.
Who doesn't like to start the weekend a day early?
D.L. Hughley breaks the news. All new CNN Saturday night, 10 Eastern.
We're back with Ed Rollins, Robert Zimmerman, and Miguel Perez. Miguel, Governor Palin gets back to Alaska. The McCain campaign aides have been throwing out anonymous sourced nonsense, viciously attacking the woman. What's your reaction?
I think that she's done well. I don't think that we should be, pounding on her at this point. Frankly, I like her. Personally, I like her. I was impressed.
How about if we pound on the McCain anonymous sources? What do you think? That'd be appropriate.
Yeah, but see, here, the problem is that, they're already talking about what is she going to do. The woman has already told us she hasn't even thought about it. And, but people are...
These are rather unimaginative journalists who can come up with no other question than to ask what Sarah Palin is going to do in 2012 when we were looking at the issues that are confronting this nation today. What is your reaction to that?
My reaction, I think it's been outrageous. These guys are totally irrelevant. This is about the third lousy campaign they've run, so I hope that they never get to work again. And if they want to be brave and courageous, stand up and attack her. But here's the interesting thing.
Yeah, what kind of, let me just say it this way, what kind of wimp, what kind of wuss
wimp is a guy
goes after a woman with anonymous source? Right. It just makes you want to...
70%. First poll has come out. Rasmussen, who was very accurate in this poll, basically did a poll on her. 70%, and Republicans are all that matter from here on out as far as she's concerned, both in Alaska and relative. She's going to get reelected. 70% of the Republicans think she added a great deal to this ticket. 91% of Republicans approve of her at this point in time. And when they put her head-to-head with Romney and Huckabee, who are the two follow-ups this year, she's at 70%. They're at 10 and 9. So she begins.
Well, I think that we may be finding out the reason that she's being attacked.
That's exactly right.
Because they want to knock her down for the purpose of political purpose.
But this is not unique to the Republican Party. Right. I remember how Al Gore was trashed by Democratic Party insiders despite his heartbreaking popular vote victory. And John Kerry was trashed by these low-level staffers. But this is about these punks, these cowards in both parties are just nothing more than staffers trying to save their reputation, and they're thoroughly unprofessional. And I feel for Sarah Palin because it's unfair to do it to her, and I despised it when it was done to Kerry and Gore.
Well, it is unfair to her, but I have to say she's handled it. She's got some stuff, and
she's got some work to do back home.
Yeah,
she's been away for 10 weeks. There's lots of problems. They have the same shortfall. She's got to get reelected. In my sense, that'll be her focus, unless she wants to throw a long ball. And when Ted Stevens gets thrown out to go run for that Senate seat and come to Washington, spend 6 years, see if 4 years from now is the right time, or if 8 years is the right time.
Miguel, she's had so much fun with the national media that I can't imagine her resisting that call.
Well, look, that could be. She would have to be appointed by the governor, though.
No. The way it works now, they've changed the law because the former governor appointed his daughter. So, so now there's a special election. She could appoint herself
That's what I'm saying.
For 60 days. until there's a special election. I don't think she would do that. I think the bottom line is she'll do a caretaker.
Does anybody want
I think what's really intriguing is how many other Republicans, or Democrats for that matter, can draw 25,000 people at a rally. She certainly has a following and an audience, and I'm sure that produces a lot of resentment.
Iowa's a long ways from Alaska, though. That's the only problem.
And as we're wrapping up here, your reaction to the fact that these turnout figures turned out to be flat with 2004, nothing like the hype. Miguel?
Well, you know, I look specifically at my community, and what I see in my community is that, look, the numbers tell you that. I
studied numbers all day.
That Obama won by 67. His Hispanic
one party
vote
turned out. One party did not turn out. One party registered new voters enthusiastically, registered 10 million new voters. We didn't. We lost 6 million fewer votes for McCain than were for George Bush 4 years ago.
I love democracy.
But the numbers didn't grow because of Obama. I don't think the numbers grew because of Obama. I think they grew because we got more voters, we got more registered people, we got more people interested in the presidency.
They were interested because of the Obama candidacy.
We're going to have to wrap this up. And if you want to look at energized voters, the African-American Democratic voter
absolutely
carried the day.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Gentlemen, up next, Heroes tonight. We introduced you to Sergeant